Hey guys, it's Glenn from glenscarcollection.com, and this video is about my Porsche 993 Turbo. Remember, if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, like and share this video so our channel can grow, and remember to leave a positive comment below. Check out our new real estate channel, Glenn Real Estate Expert. Okay, so my 993 Turbo, I'm going to give you the history on this car, how I found this car, some of the performance stats, and everything you need to know about it. Now, the 993 Turbo here in the United States is a pretty rare car. It was only made 2 years, 1996 and 1997. They built about 1,300 cars in 1996 and about 700 cars in 1997. So there were about 2,000 ever built. If 70% of those cars are still on the road, there's about 1,300 cars left. This color of my car is polar silver, which is like silver with a blue hue in it. And it's a really stunning car in person. I hope this video brings that out. Now, 993 Turbos are spread out throughout the country, and it's very hard to find one for sale because people love them and don't want to give them up. And it's very hard to find a good one. These were cheap cars for so long, so you want a car like this that's been highly maintained. So why did I choose the 993 Turbo? Well, first let me give you my Porsche history, and then maybe you'll understand. The first Porsche I ever bought was a 2002 Lapis Blue 996 C4S. So essentially that has the wide body of the 996 Turbo, the sports suspension, the brakes from the turbo, everything but the turbo. After that, having that car for many years, I had that car about 6 years, which is like forever for me. I bought a Porsche Cayman S, and Cayman, not Cayenne. When I tell people I had a Cayman S, all my friends look at me funny and they said, "Really? You bought an SUV?" Obviously, you know, as car enthusiasts, a Cayman S is essentially a hardtop Boxster. I had that car and really loved it. Then the air-cooled bug got me. I wanted to have an air-cooled car, and this is about 4 years ago when air-cooled cars were very cheap. I drove a regular 993, and it just didn't have the power of a modern automobile, or even the power of my Cayman S or 996 C4S. So I decided to go both feet in, and I started considering a 993 Turbo. I think this is one of the best-looking cars Porsche ever made. It's relatively lightweight. It weighs just over 3,300 pounds. It has 400 horsepower, 265 foot-pounds of torque. Now in Europe they measure horsepower differently, so there it is 408 horsepower. But here in the United States, how we measure horsepower, it's 400. And looking back at my car magazines, I have a ton of magazines, Car and Driver, Road and Track, Motor Trend, you name it, Auto Week. When this car was tested in 1996 when it came out, the 0 to 60 times are all between 3.7 and 3.9 seconds. So this is one of the first cars, not counting a Ferrari F40 or F50, that broke the 4-second mark, 0 to 60. So I was considering this car or a 997 Turbo. This again was about 4 years ago. At that time, these cars were dirt cheap, and it cost about 20 grand more for a 997 Turbo. I drove the 997 Turbo, and you can see we reviewed a 997 Turbo convertible on this channel, 6-speed manual, and it is a great car. But it is a more modern car and a more electronic car. I found this car about 3 hours driving distance from my house. I drove all the way out there to see the private seller and to test drive it because I was very serious about buying it. And as soon as I took this on a country back road and those twin turbos engaged, I knew I had to have this car. I mean, it blew away, in my mind, the 997 Turbo, and I couldn't believe you can get it for about 20 grand cheaper. I thought I didn't buy this car as an investment. I'd be lying if I told you I thought it would go up in value, but I thought that this car was a bargain at the prices that they were out 4 years ago, and I couldn't buy it fast enough. This car is highly maintained. I have service records going back like 15, 20 years. I have the original window sticker, and everything on this car works. Now, this is the first turbo 911 Turbo, not counting a 959, to have all-wheel drive and to be a twin turbo. The original 930 turbos and the 964 turbos were rear drive and single turbos. They were quick cars when the turbo was engaged, but they were not fast cars when they were out of boost. The original turbos in 1976 only had about 245 horsepower and had a 0 to 60 time of about 6 seconds. So this has 150 more horsepower and is more than 2 seconds faster to 60. Another thing I love about the 993 Turbo, besides its gorgeous looks, it is the right size. It is only 167 inches in length, and just to give you a perspective, that is 5 inches shorter than a BMW 1 Series. Can you believe it? A new modern 991 Turbo S is almost a foot longer than this car. In conclusion, I think this is one of the best Porsches you can buy. It's modern enough that you could drive this car every day. It's such a reliable car. I wouldn't hesitate driving this car from New Jersey, where I live, to California and back. Everything works, including the clock. It never breaks down. I've driven GT3s, I've driven Turbo S's, and they're great cars, but they're modern cars with electronics. This car, remember, has no stability control, no traction control. You don't need coffee in the morning when you're driving this car. And unlike those cars, this car goes up in value every year, and it's not hard to see why. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and I will see you next time. Take care.